Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to my channel. If you want to learn how to get this natural, simple, easy, everyday look, go ahead and keep watching. So the first step for any makeup routine that I like to follow is make sure that your skin is moisturized. Currently, I'm using the Clinique Dramatically Different Moisturizing Gel. Always moisturize your face before you put on your primer, just because it's going to let your primer soak in a little bit better and it's going to make your foundation lay a lot smoother on your face. I've already moisturized and I've already put a primer on, and I'm currently using the Estēe Lauder the Smoother Primer, and then we're going to go ahead and dampen our beauty blender before we ever come and try to apply our foundation. And what I am currently using for foundation is Covergirl Trublend Liquid Foundation. I'm the shade L1 because I have not seen sunlight in what seems like eons. But I'm currently in shade L1 and it is a little bit light for me still, so I go ahead and mix it with the Revlon Colorstay, and I'm in color 180. What I like to do is I grab one of my eyeshadow palettes that's been through the ringer, you can tell because of all the stuff on it. And I simply just take a few pumps of the lighter shade. Come out. There we go. Take about 4 pumps just because I do like to have more of a full coverage foundation than just like a light layer, because as you can see I do have a few blemishes on my face and I like to have everything really smooth and really kind of seamless and flawless. And then I pump in 1 squirt of the darker shade, and then I go ahead and I just take the flat side. This is a Real Techniques beauty blender. You can get them at Ulta, you can get them at Sephora. I also have a couple of different ones. They're really dirty right now, so ignore my dirty beauty blenders, but these both came from Ulta as well. Just dampen them, and then I like to pat it onto the palette and just mix my foundation together on the palette. That way I'm not trying to do it while it's on my face. I just feel like that's always helped me out a lot more and been a little bit more efficient for me. So go ahead, apply your foundation all over your face. Make sure you pull your hair back away from your ears and your hairline. Okay, so once our foundation is on, well, I always go straight to concealer after my foundation, just because I feel like that it's easier to blend in concealer when your foundation is still a little bit damp. And right now I'm using the Covergirl Vitalist Healthy Concealer, and I believe this is the shade Light. I know it's the lightest shade that they had, just because, again, like I said, I'm really pale right now. And I usually try to do about 3 or 4 cranks of the end of it. And I always go in, there's a big glob of it, right underneath my eye and almost a triangle shape. And I bring it kind of far back because when I go in with a contour, I contour really low, just because my cheekbones are pretty high as they are naturally. So I like to put a little bit further out, that way I can get more of almost a highlight at the top of my cheek. That way when I put my highlighter on at the end of the video, well, closer to the end of my makeup, that it's not dulled out, and the concealer will help bring it and let it pop. If that made any sense. I know that was kind of a ramble, but we're just gonna go with it. It's not even like even. Do you see that? Let's go a little bit higher. Okay. And then I also do 1 or 2 little cranks right here, and then right on the tip of my nose. So I always leave a little bit of a gap, that way later on, especially if you have a wider brim nose, you can put a little bit of bronzer or your contour shade right there on the bridge, and it'll help kind of soften the nose, the harshness of that line. And then I put a little bit on my chin. So now we've contoured the high points of our cheek, our chin, and our nose. And concealed our bags and our eyes, although mine still always stay there. Well, what I like to do is just take your beauty blender, and currently I am using, I don't want to tip it over, it's gonna get everywhere, the Coty Airspun face powder. You can buy it at Walmart, Walgreens, like I said. Just dip my damp beauty blender into the powder. Try not to get it all over the place because it is prone to do that. And just tap it right on top of that concealer, wherever you concealed on your face. While that is baking, we're gonna go ahead and move into our contour and our highlight. So the bronzer that I have been using a lot lately, sorry, my powder is like all over the place, is the Too Faced Chocolate Soleil. This is in This is in a medium to deep, and it's a matte bronzer. You can open it. And I'm going to take my Sigma large angled contour. It's F40. We're just gonna go into the pan, tap off the excess. And then I also hit right here underneath my lip. Gives it just a little bit of definition underneath your lip, and it gives you that pout that everybody wants. And then I usually will take this end of my brush, the smaller end, well, the pointy end of my brush, just dip it in a little bit and go right on the sides of your nose. And the reason that I do this is to make my nose look thinner and to straighten out a little bit of a bump in my bridge that I have. So you can't really see it on camera, but when I turn to the side, you can probably see it. So go right along the side, and then again, like I said, if you have a little bit of a wider nose right here, you can go ahead and dust it right across that part where in between where you contoured earlier. And before we put our highlighter on, take a big fluffy brush, wipe off your bake, gently brush it off. It should come right off. And then you can grab a fan brush, you can grab another angled brush, whatever you prefer. Currently I am using, I know that this is from Tarte, I don't technically know the number of it. go ahead and grab the highlight that you want to use. I am probably going to go ahead and use butterscotch. Well, let's test it. Let's just check. Nope. We're going to go in and use Gumdrop. Next, I'm going to zoom you guys in, and we're going to go ahead and do eyeshadow. Alright guys, for eyeshadow, what I usually do is I take the same bronzer that I used on my face, and I dip in a fluffy blending brush. That was a mouthful to say, trust me. And I go ahead and tap it into the bronzer that I used. I'm going to be looking in my mirror, so it might be a little bit awkward for you, but go ahead and go right into the crease. Make sure that you're blending all the way down. And I like to make almost like a V shape right here. Bring it just down into the corner of my eye. Build up your eyeshadow. The reason that I use a bronzer, and I know that I'm probably going to get questions about this, but the reason that I use a bronzer is because I use it as a transition shade. A lot of palettes necessarily come with a transition shade in the palette. I know that the like the Morphe 3502 palette, it comes with a lot like darker shades, like more bold shades, like it's got a red, and then also has your browns, but for someone who's as pale as I am, those browns in there are not light enough. So I usually like to go ahead and just use the bronzer that I'm doing, unless I'm trying to do like an all-out look, then I'll go ahead and use a transition shade or anything like that, and go ahead and just fluff it into your crease, because when you do small increments of shades, then your eyeshadow is just going to look better. And the next step is I'm going to take the MAC eyeshadow shade in Wedge. I'm going to take the same fluffy brush, dip it in there, and I'm going to go just a little bit lower than that transition shade and focus right here on the the outer corner of my eye. Up your shades, and always double check that your eyeshadow is even on both sides, because I know that I personally have done that. I've walked out of the house and one side is out there and the other one's just being conservative in the corner. And then the next step for me is I'm going to take a flat shader brush, and this is the Sigma E55 brush. That's what it looks like. And I'm gonna dip into the That was awkward. Why did I hold it like it? I'm gonna... I'm going to dip into Wedge Brute. And I'm gonna go all over the lid. That way it gives you just a little bit of color up there, but it's not overwhelming. And then I'm going to take a small tapered brush. This is the Sigma EO5. And I'm going to grab this eyeshadow. I'm not entirely sure the name of it just because it is a little bit older. I've had this forever. My grandma gave it to me when I was young. It just says Baked Mineral Shadow in Gold Dust. This is what it looks like. It's got a little bit of gold and almost like a champagne color into it. I'm going to take my tapered brush. I'm going to go right into this shadow. I'm going to go right on my inner corner of my eye. So right in here. Go in with a small brush and go back and grab this MAC shadow, the dark brown one, and I'll just use this one. I'm gonna pick up a little bit and I'm gonna go right here on the underneath just so it kind of smokes the eye out a little bit and it doesn't look like you've completely forgotten about the lower part of your eye. Next up that I do, it's a little out of order, is I go straight into my brows just because I like to have them done by the time I put mascara and everything on. So I'm currently using the Anastasia Beverly Hills Brow Wiz and I'm in medium brown. And take the spoolie end first, just brush through your brows, make sure they're laying nice. Might need done, I need to cut mine. And then go ahead and take your end of it and you want to draw a subtle line on the underneath and then make brush-like strokes upwards on your brow. That way it doesn't look like you've completely drawn them on. Go ahead and pull it out. And I usually draw on the ends of my eyebrows just because mine stop a lot shorter than most people's. So I'll go out just a little bit past my natural brow. And I take that spoolie again and I brush through it just to soften up any of those lines that looked a little bit too harsh. I'm gonna go straight into my mascara. And currently I'm using the Too Faced Better Than Sex mascara. mascara is on. And then for lips, like I said, after your chapstick has kind of sat in for a little bit, you can either, you know, just rub it in with your fingers, rub it in with your own lips, whatever you want to do. Today I'm actually going to be taking LipSense, and this is in the color Pink Champagne. It looks like this. And LipSense is a little bit different than other lipsticks or lip glosses, anything, because you can only apply it, a lot of people don't know this, but you can only apply it in one direction. Like, you shouldn't go back and forth with it because it'll just pull the other layer off. Go back in with the LipSense gloss. All right, and then we're gonna take a setting spray. I've been back and forth between these two, the Ulta Beauty, the dewy one, and then the Estee Lauder setting spray. I've really been liking this one lately. Make sure you get it all over. Let it dry. And then you are done. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button down below, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.